Donald Trump's presidency has descended into a predictable circus of chaos, corruption, and empty bravado. With his weaponization of immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, and his reckless pardon spree serving as Exhibits A and B. While Trump postures as the ultimate law and order president, his actions reveal a man floundering in delusion, handing out get-out-of-jail-free cards to violent insurrectionists and drug lords while turning ICE into a dysfunctional prop for his authoritarian fantasies. Whistleblowers and insiders are exposing the cracks in his facade, and the American public is left to clean up the mess of a leader more interested in optics than governance. This is the story of Trump's humiliating unraveling, a tale of weak leadership, corrupt decisions, and a government agency stretched to its breaking point. Let's start with the disaster that is Trump's ICE. The agency, once tasked with serious missions like combating human trafficking and dismantling transnational gangs, has been reduced to a theatrical stage for Trump's anti-immigrant obsession. Under his direction, ICE has become a dystopian nightmare, with agents in tactical gear snatching parents from carpool lines and raiding workplaces, churches, and courthouses. The images flooding social media, masked officers handcuffing people in their driveways, aren't symbols of strength. They're snapshots of a cruel, disorganized crusade that's alienating communities and burning out the very agents Trump claims to champion. According to insiders, ICE is in shambles. Reuters recently spoke with 2 current and 9 former ICE officials who painted a grim picture of an agency buckling under Trump's relentless demands. Arrest quotas have skyrocketed, up over 250% in June compared to the previous year, leaving agents overworked and demoralized. These aren't the tough-on-crime operations Trump brags about. They're indiscriminate sweeps targeting non-criminals, green card holders, and even U.S. citizens. The chaos is so pervasive that specialized investigators, who should be focused on high-stakes cases like drug cartels or human smuggling, are instead being reassigned to round up undocumented families. This isn't law enforcement. It's a political stunt gone horribly wrong. Whistleblowers, risking their careers, have called out Trump's immigration agenda for what it is: a hollow spectacle. 5 officials told Reuters that Trump's push is more about theater than results, with senior leaders facing constant threats of being fired if they don't meet arbitrary arrest targets. The result? A revolving door of ICE leadership and a workforce crippled by stress and burnout. Agents who signed up to protect the country are now pawns in Trump's game of optics, forced to prioritize photo ops over public safety. The tragedy is that this obsession with looking tough has gutted ICE's core mission, leaving America less secure while Trump preens for his base. And let's not ignore the human cost. Trump's claim of deporting the worst of the worst is a lie so blatant it's almost laughable. ICE data shows a surge in arrests of non-criminals, people with no record, no threat, just living their lives. These are the parents, workers, and community members being torn from their families, their lives upended to feed Trump's ego. The public outrage is palpable, with viral videos of ICE's heavy-handed tactics fueling protests and eroding trust in the agency. Trump's vision of strength is a mirage, and the cracks in ICE are exposing his leadership as weak, confused, and utterly ineffective. If Trump's mishandling of ICE weren't enough to cement his legacy as the president of lawlessness, his pardon spree seals the deal. Since taking office in January 2025, Trump has unleashed a torrent of clemency that reads like a who's who of America's most notorious criminals. On his very first day, he issued blanket pardons for nearly 1,500 January 6th insurrectionists, people who stormed the U.S. Capitol, assaulted police officers, and tried to overthrow the government in his name. These weren't peaceful protesters. They were armed rioters, many convicted of serious felonies like assault with deadly weapons. Trump called them hostages and patriots. But the rest of America sees them for what they are: criminals who got a free pass from a man allergic to accountability. Take Andrew Tate, for example. This is a guy who bragged about attacking Capitol Police with a metal whip and bear spray, only to be pardoned by Trump after serving a fraction of his 6-year sentence. Since his release, Taake has been rearrested on charges of soliciting a minor. A chilling reminder that Trump's pardons aren't just reckless, they're dangerous. And he's not alone. At least 10 of Trump's pardoned insurrectionists have already faced new criminal charges, ranging from plotting to murder FBI agents to possessing child sexual abuse material. This isn't law and order, it's a revolving door for chaos. But Trump's clemency spree doesn't stop at the Capitol rioters. On day 2 of his presidency, he pardoned Ross Ulbricht, the mastermind behind Silk Road, an online black market that facilitated the sale of methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin. Ulbricht, who was serving 2 life sentences, pocketed hundreds of millions in commissions while fueling America's opioid crisis. Trump's decision to free him wasn't based on justice or reform. It was a nod to his libertarian fan base, a cynical move to bolster his image while ignoring the victims of Ulbricht's empire. Day 3 brought more absurdity. Trump pardoned 2 Washington, D.C. police officers, Terrace Sutton and Andrew Zabavsky, who illegally chased a 20-year-old on a moped, leading to a fatal crash. They tried to cover it up, obstructing justice, but Trump falsely claimed the victim was illegal to justify their release. These officers are now back on the D.C. police force, a walking mockery of Trump's supposed commitment to law enforcement. And then there's Rod Blagojevich, the former Illinois governor convicted on 17 counts of corruption, including trying to sell Barack Obama's Senate seat. Trump's pardon wasn't about righting a wrong. It was a jab at the investigations dogging his own presidency, a way to thumb his nose at the rule of law. The list goes on. Brian Colfage, a former Tennessee state senator jailed for campaign finance fraud. Todd and Julie Chrisley, reality TV stars who defrauded banks to fund their lavish lifestyle. Trevor Milton, who faked a commercial to scam investors with a non-functional electric truck. Trump's pardon pen is a magic wand for fraudsters, thieves, and drug dealers, proving he's not tough on crime, he's its biggest cheerleader. Trump's defenders might argue he's just being bold, shaking up a broken system. But let's call it Ancha Hest, a desperate bid to mask his own weakness. Trump's obsession with projecting strength, whether through ICE's aggressive raids or his pardon parade, reveals a man terrified of being seen as the impotent, confused figure he truly is. His claim to be a dictator who stops crime is laughable when you consider the evidence. He's not stopping crime, he's enabling it, freeing violent offenders while turning a vital agency into a chaotic mess. The January 6th pardons are particularly galling. These weren't misguided patriots. They were rioters who beat police officers, smashed windows, and threatened the lives of lawmakers. More than 600 were convicted of assaulting or obstructing law enforcement, and 170 used deadly weapons. Yet Trump, in a move that reeks of desperation to rewrite history, calls their prosecution a grave national injustice. This isn't leadership. It's a tantrum from a man who can't face the consequences of his own incitement. And the fallout? It's not just the freed insurrectionists racking up new charges. Trump's pardons have emboldened them to target the very agents and prosecutors who brought them to justice. Social media posts from pardoned rioters taunt FBI agents, mock fired prosecutors, and even dox law enforcement with personal information. One rioter gleefully posted about the hurt felt by those who worked on his case, while another shared an agent's phone number. This is Trump's legacy. A culture of intimidation and retribution, all because he's too weak to let justice run its course. Meanwhile, ICE agents are caught in a similar trap. Trump's insistence on daily arrest quotas has turned their work into a numbers game, not a mission to protect. The fear of being fired looms large, with multiple leadership shakeups signaling that no one is safe from Trump's wrath. Agents who once took pride in their work are now demoralized, forced to chase metrics instead of criminals. This isn't the mark of a strong leader. It's the hallmark of a confused, dysfunctional presidency that prioritizes headlines over results. The damage from Trump's actions extends far beyond ICE or the pardoned criminals. The January 6th attack cost taxpayers an estimated $2.7 billion, from property damage to increased security measures. Yet Trump's pardons have erased much of the restitution owed by offenders. As of June 2024, only 15% of the $3 million in damages had been repaid, leaving the public to foot the bill while Trump's patriots walk free. This isn't justice. It's a slap in the face to every American who values accountability. ICE's collapse under Trump's watch is equally costly. By diverting resources from serious crimes to mass deportations, he's made the country less safe. Human trafficking networks and violent gangs thrive while agents are busy arresting non-criminals. The burnout and turnover at ICE mean fewer experienced officers to tackle real threats, and the public's trust in the agency is eroding with every viral video of a heavy-handed raid. Trump's policies aren't making America great. They're tearing it apart, one broken institution at a time. And let's not forget the human toll. Families are being ripped apart, communities are living in fear, and law enforcement officers, both at the Capitol and within ICE, are being betrayed by a president who claims to support them. Former Capitol police officers like Michael Fanone, who was beaten and tased during the January 6th attack, have called out Trump's pardons as a miserable injustice. Others, like Harry Dunn, see them as a continuation of the stain of that day. These heroes risked their lives, only to watch Trump reward their attackers. It's a betrayal so profound, it's hard to fathom.